A very important disclaimer before you watch this video. I have written down the points just to make sure that I cover everything. So don't mind me reading these. First and foremost is it is a true story. It is not fake. It's not fabricated. I've taken some creative liberties to shorten it down, but it's actually what happened. And it's pretty shocking, which you will be like, whoa, did this actually happen? Second is it's not to make someone look bad, and I'm not sharing it to make me look good. The main purpose of sharing this story is to tell you that this is how your life can get destroyed if you make an emotional decision. And yes, it involves a woman. Point number 3 is I want you to learn from other people's mistakes so that you don't make the same mistakes. And that is the core reason why I share these stories. The central theme is how if you make a wrong choice, if you make a wrong emotional decision, if you choose the wrong partner in your life, how that can prove to, really change the trajectory of what you're supposed to achieve versus what you'll end up achieving. A couple of other things is to protect his privacy. I've changed his names and I've changed a few key details so people would not know I'm talking about him. Please also note that if you know who I'm talking about, because some of you have followed me from very many years, please do not mention his name, because if you do mention his name or his identity, I'm going to delete that comment and most probably block you. The intention is not to take revenge. I'm not making this video to poke fun at him or to show that, I'm in a better place. And lastly is my sole agenda to share the story is, one is because I've not shared it, I just realized. But second one is where I want my channel to be where you can learn real life lessons from real life people with real life incidents, mostly because such stories are not shared in books or, because they want everyone to be goody two shoes. So I hope you paid attention to this disclaimer. Watch the video at 1.5x speed when you're doing something, that is not too important. And I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy what I have to say. Having said that, let's start. In this video, I'm going to share with you a story, true story, that I realized I never shared with you. The summary of the whole story is how a female made my best friend, who I used to admire more than anything else, into a simp, and how it completely altered his life. And I would say not destroyed it, but took it in a direction maybe he didn't want to. And what is the moral of the story? Well, I'll leave it up to you to decide what do you think. Now, a couple of disclaimers before I start. Because I'm the one who is narrating the story, obviously I'll be giving the story from my point of view. So there is, the other side. What does he think? And maybe bits which I wouldn't know or nobody knows. So I'm not going to give out his real identity because it's not fair. Okay, I'm giving one side of the story. The second thing is, keep in mind, there is always a possibility, a lot of variables may or may not be shared. And last but not the least, obviously, because I'm sharing the story, so I would portray myself in a positive light. But what I'll try to do is try to keep it as balanced as possible so that you can be the judge of the story and decide who do you think is at fault. Okay, so let us start. Not his real name, but let's call him Alex. Alex was my, you would say, not only best friend, he was my only friend in my early 20s. He was a guy who I spent time with. He was a guy I hung out with. And he was working for a multinational company. He was doing very well for himself. He was earning a very good amount. And because, maybe we shared the same background, that we both were Mangaloreans, we both were Catholic Christians, we both were, came from more or less the same village in Mangalore. Our parents, they also knew each other and they would go to the same church. So I guess it was but inevitable that we would end up being friends. And I knew his family, I knew his sister, I knew his brother, I knew everyone. Okay. So we started to talk to each other, not knowing, that is how we initially met, not knowing what the future would be. But very soon, because he was in the entertainment business, he was, into music, and I was into public speaking. I was into, communicating with large masses. We realized we both could merge together and do events together, and we could make money together. So if he was only doing DJing, which he was, but he was microphone shy, he would get paid $500, say 500 dirhams, those days $150. So if he could package me along with him, his chances of getting booked would be much more higher, and he could charge a little bit more money. For me, he could pay me a little bit. Plus, he had someone to help him when setting up the event, when going. Plus, he had someone who could do the talking. And, it was always good. Instead of being alone, you have somebody who is not only your assistant, but someone who you can trust. And then, obviously, rigging the whole event, that means setting it up, then removing everything, and then helping you transfer the heavy speakers, the equipment. That also helped. So it was a win-win for both of us. And for me, it was more like experience because I was younger than him. So remember, this is all in Dubai. Literally, I think I'm 50 now, 30 years ago. Okay, so those days we used to do a lot of private parties, small kind of events, not the big global like 10,000 people. We would do for 200, 300 people. And we would make a little bit extra money, pocket money at the side. So we would work for events. And obviously, as you do more events, more people would come to know of you and more people would take your numbers and bookings increased. So where we would do maybe one event once in 3 months, then it became once in 2 months, then it became once a month, then it became once every week. Very soon we were doing even up to 3 events a week. But remember, the challenge was he was working for a multinational company. So obviously he would do after working hours. In my case, that time I didn't have a job. So, for me, it was very easy to, adjust my schedule. And it was a relief for him because I could do things when he was busy. Let's say he's at his office and I was setting up things. Okay. So later on, as time progressed, I also got a job. He also had a job, but my job was at a very junior level. He was multinational company, slightly senior. Like, let's say he was a senior executive. I was just a junior, like a clerk kind of thing. Actually, I was working for a shop, kind of shop that was selling speakers and home theater systems. It was not like a traditional shop. The owner of the shop was working for Emirates Airlines and he used to get stuff from Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, and he used to sell it in the shop at a premium level because most of the stuff that you're selling was either pre-owned or you could not get it. So he would get exclusive stuff for his kind of database of clients. Okay, so that is what we are doing. And things were going on fine. And later on, when I stayed in Dubai, he was staying in Sharjah, which is like maybe a half an hour drive. He decided to move to Dubai and we were staying together in a sharing accommodation. Okay. We would have all the speakers, all the equipment, everything in one place. And it became very easy because Dubai was the hub where parties used to take place. Sharjah was dry. It used to follow Saudi rules where no events were taking place. No events, no alcohol, nothing. So we were doing a lot of events. And remember, as you get into events, DJing, kind of a nightclub environment, you meet a lot of girls. Okay. And, I was going to the gym. I had muscles. He didn't have much. He never went to the gym. So obviously, I would attract more females than him. And I was more of a playboy. He was more of the shy kind. Remember, I was the one who was talking. So I would score points with lots of females. Okay. He would score points, but he had the money. He could take them out expensive places. So he had a different kind of market segment. I had a different market segment where girls were also concerned. And obviously, because his network of working in the multinational company, they would meet a certain category of a crowd that was slightly higher. Once a while, this is me being very frank and honest. Once a while, we would both end up liking the same girl or admiring the same girl. But then here also, I would score better points than him because I could talk, he could not. He didn't know how to express his point of view. And we continued. We didn't have any problems for any female, okay, as such. We went through a lot of ups and downs. Let me put it to you this way, where we really became closer as friends. The one area which I think I contributed the most was when he had a girl who he really loved more than anything in the world. He wanted to marry her, but she had mental and emotional issues, personality issues. I think she was borderline, she had a borderline personality disorder, or she was either schizophrenic or something wrong. And he wanted to marry her. They met with the parents, but she would always try to damage his career. Like if they would fight, she would scratch his face and she would, puncture his tire or do crazy stuff. And it was a very bad breakup, so bad that he ended up in depression. Oh, I forgot to tell you, he used to drink lots of alcohol. He was hardcore alcoholic. So he would drink to the point he would almost collapse. And I was always there carrying him. There were times where he would drive, I would be with him just to make sure that he wouldn't kill himself when driving. He would drive at top speed. Many times we, almost hit a divider while driving. I would I didn't know how to drive, but I called, hey, listen, drive properly, man. And sometimes you'd park the car, I would take out the keys, and I would tell, no, you wait until you're feeling okay. So, a lot of ups and downs. And there were times where you would puke. And even with puke all over, I would still carry him. I would still make sure he was cleaned, and he would appreciate me being there for him as a friend in need. And by the way, he was also there for me. Okay, it's not that I was only there for me. He was also there for me. He helped me during the time of unemployment. I always had the problem where I couldn't stick up to a job for very long. I was too much of a rebel. He gave me a lot of times. He gave me money that I never had. So he did his part of being a friend also. So he was a good guy. So we were very close as friends. But remember, there's always that age difference and earning difference. So obviously, we would have different set of goals. Everything was fine. We would have girls who we would like, and I would score points. And I don't remember, as far as I can recollect, where he liked a girl, and I got the same girl he liked, and he would feel bad. I do think I'm getting this in my head. I do think there was one particular girl who he liked very much, but I was scoring more points with her. And he told me, what the fuck, man? I told you I like this girl and you're talking. I apologized. Okay. So that was the only time. And this is me being very transparent. There was one particular girl from Mumbai who was working in a petrol station who he liked very much. I don't know why I didn't use common sense, but I made the first mover advantage, and she ended up having a great time with me, which I think later on he told me that he hated me for it, or he was pissed off with me for it. But then again, what the fuck? Okay, this is what he said. But I knew that hurt him, and I was like, why the fuck didn't I ever even realize this? But what to do? She fell for me, not for him. Okay. So I'm being as transparent as possible in all areas. Now everything was fine. Our friendship spanned from the age of 20, I think, all the way till I think 30, 10 years. Okay, 10 years. Almost every day we are meeting, almost every time we are together. We stayed together, I think, for 5 years together, okay, as a roommate. But here is where the turning point came. It was when he decided to get married, where obviously he couldn't stay as a sharing friend. What had happened, I'll just give you a summary of the whole thing. There was this girl who was his far distant cousin. He used to meet in Mumbai. He only treated her like a friend. By the way, let's say, for example, he was in his 30s. I was 25. I'm giving an age difference, maybe 5 years. She was 20. So he's 30, I'm 25. She is maybe 19 or 18. That was the age gap. Okay. And she was from Mumbai, Bombay. She was his far distant cousin. And I think he never had any agenda with her to make her his girlfriend. But obviously she had. This is me telling you my version of the story. Why? Because whenever he would go to Mumbai, she would take him out for nightclubs and places and all that. And she would get, I told you he's alcoholic. So I guess she would get him pissed drunk. And because he's working in a multinational company, tax-free money, Dubai life. And, she has got this guy who is not extraordinary, but good enough. Why not have him for her, for herself as husband? So this is my version of the story. I think she got him exceptionally drunk. Then they had sex. She made sure, unprotected sex, made sure that she got pregnant, made sure that he got this thing that I'm pregnant now, you have to, what'll I do and all that. And obviously because he was in his 30s and she's, 18, 19, whatever, he felt guilty, but she had to go through an abortion because he couldn't keep it. But that guilt killed him. And he shared this with me on a very personal level at that time. You're talking of nearly 25 years ago or whatever. Okay, so if in case I'm sharing the secret with you, it's after 25 years and you don't even know his real name. Okay, so when he told me about it, I was like, oh fuck, okay. But the first thing I told him is, man, just keep in mind she's from Mumbai. She's that typical Mumbai mentality. You are staying in Dubai. So I feel, straight away I told him, I feel that she had this agenda to get her pregnant, get you to make feel guilty, and you should marry her, because he had decided then and there he's going to marry her. Why? Because he got her pregnant. Why? Because he got her go through an abortion. Why? Because guilt feeling. Oh, she is 10, 12 years younger than me. So I always told him, boss, I feel she has played you. Now here's a couple of things that you should know. She was not at all beautiful. Not beautiful. I'm giving you my version. Not beautiful, because I know beautiful women that he did date. And I also dated with beautiful women. Means we didn't date exceptionally beautiful women, just average. But she was very much below average. But because she was in India, she was thin. That's the only thing that was helping her. But she was not at all beautiful. She was overly aggressive in terms of talking. The typical Indian kind of female, blah, blah, blah. like very aggressive. And yes, because she was his far distant cousin, same religion, same background, same, Mangalorean, whatever. And then there was another problem that his mother, uh, she was a dominatrix. And that is one of the reasons why he decided to get away from home and stay with me, because he hated his mother. His mother was too controlling. His mother was the reason why he broke up with that previous girl who I told you had mental issues. She couldn't get along with the mother. And the mother nagging. Oh my goodness, she is one of the most toxic human beings on the planet. She's so toxic that if she were dead, it would be time to celebrate. She was so toxic. Nagging, 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 unbearable, incorrigible. Even if you'd give his entire salary, she would still nag. And she is a type Mangalorean mother who believed that I gave birth to you for you to give me money. You're my investment. So terrible human being, nagging, unbearable. I don't know if she was a nice person, but she was just unbearable. Okay. So when she came to know that this guy is going to get married to his cousin, she was totally against. No, no, no. Sorry. She was okay with the idea because she considered her own family. But where they thought, they both assumed the mother and this girl, they loved each other. Once she came to Dubai and she stayed with the mother, then they realized they had different points of view. They both were strong headed. They both had different points of view, and they both wanted to control this guy, Alex, fake name. They wanted to control him. They wanted to control his finances. They wanted to control his likes, dislikes, where he went, what he did. And there was a massive ego clash. And before you know it, where I remember Alex telling her, I think after you come to Dubai, you should stay separate. She had told, no, 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 your mother is like my mother. I will stay with her. I love her also. She loves me. And he said, you're going to regret it. She didn't listen. Indian women hardly listen. So they ended up staying together, ended up becoming the biggest enemies. And then he ended up having to take two separate houses, one for himself, one for his mother. Okay. This is before they actually officially got married. Okay. Initially, like I told you, I was not in a very positive frame of mind about her because I looked at her as a manipulative person who got him drunk, got him to get her pregnant just because she could catch a big fish. Okay. I think same thing my wife did, but my wife is nice. Okay. So she came down to Dubai. They had decided on a marriage date. They're going to get married. Fine. Now remember, me and him have done events. We have done lots of weddings. Our whole shtick was weddings, actually. I forgot to tell you. And we used to do a lot of functions together. He would supply the equipment. He would do the DJing. I would also do the DJing, but I would do more of the emceeing, the talking, the entertaining, the announcing. And, together we would set it up and de-rig the whole thing. So one of the key things we would do during every wedding, because I was the announcer, I was the man who would welcome and announce, and people would follow my instructions. So I obviously had a checklist of the do's and don'ts. I obviously would instruct the bride and groom before the wedding. We would have multiple meetings before the wedding, what to do, who are the key players, when will they give the speech, when will they cut the cake, when will they walk, when will they dance, what numbers will be played, everything. I used to keep the checklist and I used to take charge. That is why I was called the master of ceremonies. I would plan. Okay, the DJ will put this music, lights will come from here. This is how you'll dance. This is what you'll do. Everything I used to take charge. Okay. So we would have the final briefing before the actual function, before the actual wedding. So they would know perfectly what to do. In fact, sometimes we would meet at the venue and practice 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before the actual event. We do mock sessions. Okay, you walk here, you stand here. When I move my hand like this, you will be there. Then the father will sit there. So as to make them go like a movie directing, So this is the protocol we used to follow. This was the checklist, which was standard. I used to take charge and he knew that. So now, because he's my best friend, because even my half brother, he knew him, my family knew him, his family knew, we all knew each other. We were very close. After the wedding in the church, then it was time for the wedding in the hotel, the celebration. And because we were close, we were setting up the equipment, everything. My half brother, when you book a venue, the hotel offers you a free suite for the wedding couple. It's for free because you're booking the conference hall or the wedding hall, or you're booking the food. You're giving them business. So they give you the suite for free for 1 night or 2 nights. So they had booked, obviously you'll keep the gifts there, whatever. Your family can be there. So my half brother was there. After the wedding, he went there to have a shower, to get dressed. And obviously the bride and groom, after the wedding dress, they will change, they'll put the makeup and they'll get ready for the second part of the event. And customary to how we used to do the event, I was normally me and him, we would go together and have the meeting with the bride and groom, okay, and the parent for the final time. We would have many meetings before, but this was going to be the final. So because it was his wedding, we didn't have all those mandatory meetings, but we kind of knew what he wanted. So I told him, everything is fine, everything is done. We had a checklist before the reception, the party would actually start 2 hours. 1 hour before the wedding, approximate, I told him, I'll meet you at your suite and I'll find out what she wants, what you want, whatever. Yeah, just run through the checklist and whatever we want, we'll get it done. Okay, because I consider this more or less like my own function, my own wedding or my own this thing, because my best friend, no? Okay. So I told him, I'll come up, let's go together and let's get the checklist. And this is where the most shocking thing ever happened. Seriously, I'm telling you, I have not forgotten this to this day, what happened then. It was the most unpredictable answer I ever got from whom I consider my best friend, my family. I never thought he would say it. And what did he say? I told him, I'll meet you, let's go up to the suite. I'll speak to you and her, and I'll take the checklist of what song she wants, what she wants. I'll give you the final instruction. And to my shock, utter shock, I was not prepared for this. He told me, you don't need to go up there and, I'm paraphrasing, you don't need to go up there and meet her. You can just tell me what you want. I will tell. I was like, what? I said, no, man, I'm going to meet you and her. Like, it didn't register. Huh? I'm telling you, it didn't register because this was like the last thing I would ever hear anyone say. Like I told him again, no, I'm just going to meet you and her. You give the final list, and so I know what you guys want. Once again, he told me, no, you don't meet her. You don't meet my wife. Like I'm paraphrasing. When he said, don't meet my wife, you don't have to meet her. You just tell me what you want here, down here. You tell me what you want, and we'll get it. I'll tell her. I just like stepped back. I was like, what? Yeah, you just tell me what you want. No need to meet her. When he told me that, I was like, what? And I'll tell you, it just hit me like a tsunami. Like, you're so confused. You don't know what the hell is going on here. Like, I was trying to make sense. I was like, your mind is working very fast to process the information. I was like, he doesn't want me to meet his wife. He just wants, like, I was trying to make sense. Like, he wants me to talk. He doesn't want me to meet his wife. I just tried to compose myself. I said, okay, all right. I'll just prepare the questions. I'll just prepare and I'll send it to you. Saying, yeah, you just, once it's ready, you just let me know. I will send my brother. I'll send him down or something like that. I said, okay, fine. I'll just, let me prepare them. He said, okay. Like, remember, I have to tell them, you're going to walk here, you're going to go here, or whatever. Okay, he went. I'm being honest with you, it's kind of a blank. I don't know whether I told him, okay, we'll walk from here, we'll do this, we'll meet here, and here we'll have I don't know if I did that. I think I did, but it's completely blank. And I'm very sure I was shell-shocked. After he went up, I'm telling you this, honestly, this is me exposing this for the first time. I honestly asked myself, do I want to do this function? Do I want to be here? I mean, he has just insulted me. He has humiliated me. He has kind of given me a slap. Like, this is your wife. You have just got married. I'm not attracted to her. I don't find her sexy, beautiful, nothing. I mean, this is your wife and I'm your best friend. And I mean, you don't trust me enough to even talk to her? I just came for your goddamn wedding. We spent so many years. You seriously think I'm going to make a pass at her? Or, like, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. In fact, now when I think of it, I don't know if she instructed him not to have me there. I don't know if she instructed him or she told him. I have no idea. But he didn't want me. Really, I wanted to walk. I'm telling you, honestly, I wanted to walk off that wedding and let him get fucked. Let him get fucked. And I had this back of my head. He'll not have an MC. He'll not have an answer. Fuck him. That's really what I wanted to do. For some reason, I'm not sure if I'd done that, it would have been the right thing. I don't know whether I should have done that so he'll realize his mistake. But I just decided I'll do the function, but I'll not stay for food. I'll not stay for anything. I'll just leave and I'll hand it over to my brother to do the rest of the announcement. And I took it like a man. I swallowed my pride or dignity or whatever. I informed my stepbrother, this is the checklist. Let's get the approval. He came down after some time, said, fine. I masked the feeling that I had, did the wedding, told him bye, and I left before the food and all that was there. I finished the main important parts and I left. I'm sure he kind of knew maybe why I left, or maybe he was too busy or whatever. He didn't ask me to stay anyway. It took me quite some time to get over the incident. Feel free to comment down below and let me know what do you think. But it took me quite some time to get over this incident. And here's a funny thing. For a couple of years, I think we didn't DJ events much after that. Anyway, we were moving in separate different directions. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, in between there was a gap where I left, 1 year gap, where I left for Dublin for my first wife. It didn't work out and I came back. So my brother used to do a lot of shows with him, my half brother, and his own cousin or whatever. So we are trying to patch back the old format. I forgot to mention this. So anyway, so we didn't meet each other after that for very many years. However, here's the funny thing. Here's the best part. After, I think, 5 or 6 or whatever years, we met again. And by the time, I think I just let bygones be bygones and we were just talking. I don't know how we met or where we met or that all, don't ask me. But he asked me to meet him at his house, his residence, which I said, fine. Yeah, just forget it. When I met his wife this time, she had put on weight. So if before she was, let's say, for example, she was 50 kilos. Now she was, I think, 70 kilos. I'm just giving an approximate. You might say that's not much. Well, the female, she was 5 feet, 5 feet and few inches. So she was not very tall. So she putting on that kind of, and remember, it's not men with their heavy bones and heavy muscle. She's a female who doesn't do any exercise. So she was fat, not super obese, like a 500 kilo, whatever elephant that you see, but she was really plump. And she lost all that youthful looks because obviously, after you get married and you stay in Dubai, you don't go exercise. When she was in India, she used to at least go walking every day, work and all that. So she was relegated to becoming a housewife. So she became chubby and fat and she looked like a short midget auntie, as I would call it. He kind of looked more or less the same, but she looked really aged. Now here's the I don't know, the most comedic or funny part. Before, he didn't want me to even talk to his wife, and she was not attractive. Now she was super plump, super fat. He didn't give a fuck whether I talked to her. He didn't give a fuck who she talked to. In fact, I think he was fed up because of her nagging. She turned out to be as bad as his mother. In fact, it was so funny. I even sat on her lap as a joke. We were joking and fooling. And even she sat on my lap as we were joking and laughing. I sat on his lap, her lap, whatever. I wanted to see how would he react. It's so funny when it was sorry to use this language, but when it was a fresh putang, tropical fruit, like Russell Peters says, when it was fresh, that smelly fruit, you know what I'm talking about. He wanted, this is my fruit. Oh, this is my vagina. Once he got used to it and she became fat, uglier, and he got fed up. That romance was no longer there. It became a nagging relationship. It became something of, the honeymoon phase was over. It was over long back. He didn't give a fuck who sat on her and she sat on him. I think it was so bad that I don't think he would even give a fuck if she was sleeping around with someone. I'm not saying exactly it's the truth, but he didn't give a fuck, man. And she turned out to be very toxic for him. Very, very toxic. Very toxic. In fact, she even once punched him in the face and ended up bleeding. He would not raise his hand on her, she would. And she did that because I joked about her. And later on, once she did it because I had an opinion, I made kind of fun or joke about them, and she hit him. And then he stopped meeting me altogether. So anyway, she turned out to be a bitch of a disaster. I've not kept in touch with them, I think, for 10 years plus, more than that. But I'm pretty sure they are married, but they're not like happily married, as you can see. My version, they're just married, namesake. Is he happy? Absolutely not. Does he have regret marrying her? 100%, though he'll never say it to me. And does he know what I told him was the truth? 100%, though he'll never admit that he could get a girl 100 times better than her. But he got married to her by mistake, making the mistake of falling for her emotional blackmail. And yes, did he realize that she got him drunk? She purposely made him get her pregnant, made him feel guilty and get married out of an emotional impulse? 100%. So what am I trying to tell you through this video? Am I trying to gloat over it? Ha ha ha, I had the last laugh, and he's a piece of shit, I'm the great hero in this movie? No, it's nothing of that sort. The reason why I'm sharing this video with you is to share an incident that I never shared. But there are many lessons you can learn from this. One is how devious, sinister, and evil a female can be if she has decided to get what she wants. In fact, I know 2 or 3 members of my family who use this strategy to get the guy from a well-to-do family to get them pregnant. So they would get married out of guilt. I know a couple of them. Some of them have managed to hit the jackpot with this strategy. So it's not just others. That evilness exists with many people, number one. Number two is never make a permanent decision when you're emotionally high. That is number two. Number three is marriage is not meant for feeling sorry for someone, because remember, people change their colors once after they get what they want. And especially marriage, oh my goodness, if you marry the wrong person, it's a career suicide. I can tell you the 60% of all his headache, inconveniences in life is because of her as a marriage partner. By the way, I'm not even sure if they have a child. I think she was not able to conceive after that, which is sad for them. I'm not sure. I'm not in touch with them, so I'm not sure. Do I feel good about the fact that, yeah, you treated me like shit and now you got fucked? I'm being honest. I'm being very transparent. I don't gain anything by his entire life being messed up because of that one incident. And remember, it takes two hands to clap. He felt insecure of all this. I don't blame him. Maybe, not maybe, because I was a playboy. But why did he act that way on that particular day? I would say, playing the devil's advocate, I think his wife also had a say in that matter. And yes, I feel he danced to his wife's tune. That's what I feel. Overall, now how do I feel about him? I don't feel anything. I've not been in touch with him for donkey's ages now. Do I have ill will towards him? No. Would I say hi to him if I meet him? Yeah, just normal. Hi, how are you? Bye. Would I sit and reminisce about reminisce or whatever old times? Yeah, maybe we would. But you grow older, you go your way. He goes his way, I go my way. I'm pretty sure he must have changed just as I have changed. And do I forgive him? There's nothing to forgive. It happened. 30 years is too long a time. Anyway, this is what happened. But one thing is, which I realized only after the terminology came out, is despite all his achievements and everything that was good for him, he was a simp. And he was a simp under his mother, turned out to be a simp under his wife. And I wish he was more of a man. Had he done that, he would have been in a much better place in his career and in his life, because career-wise is perfectly happy. Life is perfectly happy. Just as marriage, I think, is absolutely the worst decision he could make. And that is the most important decision of any man's life. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the story. Let me know your thoughts. This is a true story, nothing fake. Love to know, what do you think? Who is to blame? Me, him, both of us, neither of us? What would you do if you're in my place? Especially, what would you do if you're in my place that day? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Having said that, appreciate you watching this video. And please, if you know who I'm talking about, don't put his real name, because I want to give him that respect of, let him be anonymous, because it's not fair. I have a YouTube channel. I can broadcast my views. He can't. So it's not right. All right. Feel free. Comment below. This is me signing off. You guys take care.